Hello and good morning, everyone. It's a wonderful morning today. I think Jaipur should now be called Bangalore actually because the weather is absolutely delightful. And we did have some sunshine in the morning, but looks like it's going to be monsoon for a while. So hope the weather is same at your end. So let's begin without wasting much time. Okay. So coming to that, who all are there? Please let me know. A very good morning to all of you. I hope I'm not late. I'm never late. Any which ways. So all of you, very good morning. I'm Siddhi Bangard, your friend, educator, and mentor. Let me just check. Yes, we are on the right track. So, okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Siddhi Bangard, and I graduated from BIT Mesra. I have appeared for 4 mains in an interview, and I did my postgrad from XLRI Jamshedpur. So this is my code SBUS or SB Siddhi. You can use any one of them for a 10% off on any of the UPSC CSE subscriptions under Unacademy. This is my Unacademy profile link. You can use this to follow me on Unacademy so that you can attend all the live classes that I take. I will be informing you about the same. And if you have any queries or doubts, you can message me on the Unacademy app. I will surely revert. With that, I request you that you install the Unacademy app so that you can track your performance there. So on the Unacademy Plus courses, you get daily live classes. That means you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts. Most of you, my students there, they do it on a daily basis. So if you're new, come to the Unacademy platform. We are having a special class festival running till the prelims. So that will give you a flavor of how the platform actually works. You can choose the educator you want, you can choose the timing you want to attend the classes, you can watch the recorded lectures, asked out later on. So all kinds of facility are there. Then talking about the live test and quizzes. So as of now, the prelims test series is going on there. Live at 8:30 p.m. every day till the prelims will happen. So it has been going on for the past 2 months now. Similarly, what we have on YouTube, and all our courses are aligned to the UPSC CSE syllabus, and one subscription of Unacademy gives you access to all the live and recorded courses that we have. Live means that are going on right now, which the people are teaching, and recorded means people have taught it before, but they will be there. So since the last 4 years or 5 years when we started on Unacademy, all the courses are there. Each and every course is there on the platform. You will miss out on nothing. You can always go back, check out whichever courses you like. Some very fantastic courses are there. You can still go back and take a look at them even when you buy a subscription right now, even when you take a plus subscription right now. With that, there is also the Unacademy Iconic program. It's a step ahead than the plus program. It is for both freshers and repeat aspirants. So you have myriad amounts of doubt. Like somebody asked me how to read the economic survey, where to find this river. Even the smallest doubts. Does this river even exist? Where is this dam? What happened? So for all these doubts, the smallest to the largest, how to prepare for the prelims, what topics should I concentrate on? I am not being motivated enough to do something. This is for those people who require a mentor, and I do feel mentoring is the most important part of civil services. So under the Iconic program, apart from the benefits of Plus, that is the live classes, test series, unlimited practice in terms of question and answers, and a structured schedule, that means you know which class will cover what. You also have under the Iconic a personal coach, which is the highlight of the program, to whom you can go for your stupidest to the most wisest doubts that you have about civil services. That person will help you with daily mains Q&A practice, a study planner, and a personalized feedback session based on your performance throughout the year. So if the Iconic subscription you take for 1 year, you can talk to this person for the entire year for all your doubts whenever you want, however you want, and if you're in the same city, maybe meet up. So Iconic for 1 year is 64,000, for 2 years is 99,000. And if you use my code SBUS, you get an instant 10% off, which makes it only 89,100 for 2 years and 57,600 for 12 months. With that, for the plus, it's 44,000 for 1 year and 64,000 for 2 years. You can use my code SBUS to get an instant 10% off, which makes it 39,600 for 1 year and 57,600 for 2 years. With that, choose wisely, choose Unacademy, and obviously choose Iconic because it's a wonderful program giving you the benefits of plus a personal mentor to listen to all your doubts and queries and to answer them favorably. So you can use this code SBUS to get an instant 10% off. With that, as I was talking about my special classes, so this is the prelims test series that is going on the Unacademy platform at 8:30 p.m. sharp. It happens almost every day without fail, unless I'm ill or sick. So this one's here. This is the latest one. We had it on September 3. It's continuing. We'll have one session at 8:30 p.m. today also. So with that, let's start and let me know who all are there. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Aditya. Anand, you cannot choose the educator. Actually, they don't have educators under the Iconic. They have the mentors, people who are very experienced in UPSC, people who have cleared UPSC. These people will be your mentors. People who have a lot of experience of civil services. Is that okay, Anand? So that's how that happens. Now, let's start. So ground rules, feel free to be wrong, but replicate your successes. That is very important. 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. And most importantly, it's a wonderful weather. Please enjoy yourself. And I believe we still have time to go to the prelims, so improve each day. With that, there is one thing that I wanted to inform you. 7th September is now the International Day for Clear Blue Skies. All right. So this is this, and this was actually made an international day by the UNGA last December. They actually passed a resolution. So today our Minister for Forest and Climate Change, he will be chairing this webinar and detailing out India's initiatives towards International Day for Clean Blue Skies under the NCAP program, National Clean Air Program. So there are 100 cities, 122 cities which have been chosen to reduce the air pollution in those cities. So he will be delineating the items on this agenda regarding what they have done under the NCAP in the webinar on International Day for Clear Blue Skies, which will be celebrated every year thence on 7th of September. Is that okay? With that, let's proceed. Question number 1 on your screens, 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Thank you, Aditya, and good morning, everyone. Time starts now. Suman is very enthusiastic, and Suman, I'm actually very proud of you. You have been showing, you have been really working hard, and that shows in the way you perform in the class. So, yes. Rangesh is here. Good to see you, Rangesh. All right. So the correct answer is B, Rangesh. It is option number B. Satyanarayan, option number B. Anant, you're correct. Yes, 1 and 3. Why not 2? Because a couple of districts have only been selected. All right. And not across all states. If you're already talking about select district across all states, then no. Not across all states, across select states only. That's why this part actually makes it wrong. And mostly, yes, it is for the migrant workers who have come back to their districts due to coronavirus 19. So let's take a look at it. What all does it involve? Option number 1 and option number 3 are definitely correct. So let's talk about it. Yes, you will surely, Suman. And I think so is the case with Afreen also. I have seen her performance go up tremendously. So is with Aditya. Anant has been performing well. Ridhima has been performing well. So pretty good to see you guys. All right. So talking about this, basically the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan will be run for 125 days. It is a mission mode project. All right. So they will be focusing on implementation of various infrastructural works, and they have a funding of 50,000 crores. So they will have a skill mapping. They will see which people can do what kind of work, and that will be given to them to actually reduce the distress in the rural regions where people have returned during the coronavirus crisis. Now, what are the districts involved and what are the states involved? So a total of 116 districts are involved, where more than 25,000 migrant workers have gone back. Obviously, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh are the prominent ones. Most of the workers come from these states. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Odisha. These are the 5 or 6 states which are there as a part of this program. It's okay, Abhishek. Please join in, and thank you, Afreen. Talking about this, it's very easy to actually remember it. It is Bimaru states. They still remain Bimaru. So Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. So these are the Bimaru states. So definitely they are involved. A lot of workers from Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, they go out to work. And the other 2 states are Jharkhand and Odisha. So in the eastern part. And they include 27 aspirational districts. So it is a part of the aspirational districts program. I think the aspirational districts program also has, I think, 116 aspirational districts around India, which will be developed to become model districts. A lot of infrastructure is going to be developed in them. So talking about them, yes, it is for the first time that we will try through this Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan to actually provide modern facilities such as internet connectivity, laying of optical fiber cables, increasing the internet speed in the villages. So what they have actually done is they have combined the optical fiber network program with the Garib Kalyan Rozgari Abhiyan. So what they are doing is combining 2 schemes so that everybody gets benefit. First of all, it creates employment, and second of all, we are creating the necessary infrastructure which can boost the productivity of the villages. If we can boost the productivity of the villages, the problem of unemployment which is there in the rural areas will definitely come down. It will provide better amenities to the rural people so that the migration to the cities can also be stopped. So it's actually doing a lot of things with just one scheme. So pretty good way to actually combine everything here. Additionally, do you guys remember yesterday we did a question on the periodic labor survey that is released by the MOSPI. So we did say that the unemployment statistics in the urban areas have come down from 7.8% to 7.7%, but in the rural areas the unemployment has come down furthermore by 0.2 or 0.3%. So the rate of unemployment has come further down in the rural areas than in the urban areas. So that means creating more employment in the rural areas is the way to go, because the cities are already saturated. So you can also link it to the periodic labor survey that we discussed yesterday, that unemployment of women is coming down, males is also coming down. But despite all of that, this should be our focus areas. Is that okay? And also combine it with the Vandhan scheme, because we talked about the SHGs yesterday. So SHGs mostly comprised of women. So that's one way to bring down the unemployment or the upscale the productivity of the rural women. Is that okay? Is everybody able to follow me? Yes, there are some comments. Abhishek, very well, Anand. I am hopeful for that. Yeah, it is offensive, but it's a very, very oft quoted, what do you say, acronym. And the second thing is it's been there for a while now. I think a decade has passed. Even I gave the exams, it was there before even I gave my exams. So it's there. Yes, Aditya. All right. With that, we'll, if you want to read more about it, the entire key points of the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan are there in this Times of India article. I will be sharing these with you so that you can go and visit these articles. Actually, see, Abhishek, they don't have the department of SPI. There is only a ministry of SPI, that is MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, under which, Abhishek, you shouldn't be asking me this now because I have discussed this numerous times on Unacademy and I answered your question yesterday also. So there are two wings. One is the statistics wings, under which you have the CSO, NSO, etc., which comes out with different statistics that we already know. Then the CPI, etc., they come out with these statistics. Then there is a program implementation department, which has the MP Lads division. We have already done that. Do you remember, Aditya? We have done this question about the MOSPI. Is that okay, Abhishek? So there is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, then there is a Department of Statistics, and then there is a Department of Program Implementation. If you want to know more, you can visit their website. The entire org structure is there. All right. In the About section of the ministry, the entire org structure is there. And it is not relevant to the exam. All right. And if you still want to read more, go and read the India Air book. It's there. Okay. Let's come to question number 2. And 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right, your time starts now. Okay, so Ridhima has answered correctly. All right, so it's option number D actually. Ridhima has answered correctly. 2 and 3 are correct. First would also be correct because yes, high endemism of orchid species is found in Western Ghats, but the highest number of orchid species is found in the northeastern states. Arunachal is specially famous for that. All right. So only Ridhima has answered me correctly as of now. She has answered option number D. Okay, Suman has also answered me correctly. I'm sorry. I didn't see through that, Suman. So Suman and Ridhima have answered me correctly. Yes, Botanical Survey of India conducts the orchid census of India, and trade of wild orchids is banned globally. So that means this comes under CITES, right? So Convention on Ban on the Trade of Endemic Species, right? Endangered species. This is the Washington Convention. So your orchids come under Appendix 2 of CITES. We have already discussed what does Appendix 1 and Appendix 2 means. So your wild orchid, they come in Appendix 2. That's why the trade is banned in them globally. All right, it's the Washington Convention, and the CMS on the migratory species is your Bonn Convention. The similarity in them is both are provided secretarial services by the UNEP Secretariat or the United Nations Environment Programme Secretariat. Is that okay? So let's go and find this out, what actually happened. So it came in the Hindu. This article came in the Hindu, I think in June or January 2020. They came up with the first comprehensive census of orchids in India. So that was conducted by Botanical Survey of India, whose headquarters are in Kolkata, West Bengal. All right. So when they did a state-wise distribution of the orchid species, they actually found out that Himalayas and northeast parts of the country and Western Ghats, so 3 places, Himalayas, northeastern parts of the country and Western Ghats are hotspots of the beautiful plant species. Orchids feel beautiful, smell beautiful, honestly. Maximum orchid species are from Arunachal Pradesh, and hence option number 1 is wrong. However, when you talk about the endemism, that means the orchid species belongs to that place only, then Western Ghats is the place to go. Obviously, when we talk about species richness, Western Ghats is a biological hotspot. Is that okay? Anand, exceptions for what? I'm not able to get your question. Exceptions for what? All right. Talking about this, Darjeeling Himalayas. So Arunachal has the maximum number of orchid species, followed by Sikkim, of course, and then followed by West Bengal and Darjeeling Himalayas. Now, as I told you, Northeast India has the maximum number of species, but Western Ghats has the highest endemism of orchids. Now, there was another thing that they talked about. They said among the 10 biogeographic zones of India, the Himalayan zone is the richest in terms of orchid species, followed by Northeast, followed by Western Ghats, Deccan Plateau, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Right? So, oh yes, Anand, if you're talking about that exception, that is what you say, that is for Appendix 1. It's strictly prohibited, but in case of very, very rare exceptions that it is needed as a life-saving drug or something else has happened, then we actually permit the trade. Yes, yes, yes. I got your question, Anant. We have discussed it when I discussed Appendix 1. So that's for Appendix 1. And Appendix 2, obviously. Very, very rare exceptions. Is that okay, Anant? Alright. So talking about this, the 10 biogeographic zones of India. So who actually came up with the 10 biogeographic zones of India? So it's the Wildlife Institute of India. They actually came up with 10 biogeographic zones of India. So these are the Trans-Himalayan zone, that is beyond the Great Himalayas, then the Himalayan zone, the 3 ranges of Himalayas, desert zone, that is where I live, semi-arid zone, that is kind of Deccan Plateau only, and somewhere above Deccan Plateau, that's in fact most of the India is semi-arid zone only. Your Western Ghat zone, Deccan Plateau zone, Gangetic Plain zone, Northeastern zone, that is the Seven Sisters, coastal zones, east and the western coast, and the island groups of India. So most of these physiographic divisions you find in chapter 1 only of the Indian geography in 11th standard. So we have actually divided them into 10 biogeographic zones. So that is as per the Wildlife Institute of India. They have done this. So as per them, the Himalayan zone is the richest in terms of orchid species, followed by the Northeast, followed by the Western Ghats, followed by the Deccan Plateau, and finally the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Is that okay? Everybody with me on this? All right. Yes, Aditya, you're right. Arunachal is called the orchid state of India. Okay. Let's move on to question number 3. Another interesting question. All right. Another one in the Hindu and another one in the Indian Express. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Satyanarayan, how are you finding the class? Are you okay? Are you understanding everything? Because I really like your sincerity. All right, your time starts now. All right, so most of you, Anand, you also have been doing really well. Yes, it's option number B because 2 should be correct. Low grade coal can be used in the coal gasification process. All right. So yes, coal gasification is a process of converting coal gas into syngas. We'll see what it is, and which is a mixture of, yes, hydrogen, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. It can be used for a variety of applications. And yes, it does reduce our dependence on liquefied natural gas for various processes. All right, Abhishek, very happy to know that. The classes should get better. Okay, so syngas is a short form for synthesis gas. That's the first point. The second point is syngas is made up of hydrogen, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. All right, let's come to its applications. Production of electricity. We have gas-based plants. So one of the gas-based plants that we already did was the Janor gas-based plant in Gujarat. So it gets its gas from Gale. We already discussed that, and water from Narmada. We did it in the day before yesterday's class. You must be remembering it by now. And I think I had lost Abhishek when I was discussing this in the day before yesterday's class. He left the class in between, so he might not be knowing about it, but we have done this. All right. Then they are used for making chemical products such as fertilizers. So fertilizers is where you actually have applications of these kind of things, and the second is production of electricity. Now, according to international energy agencies, Energy Technology Systems and Analysis Program, the new ways of having producing energy. So according to their program, coal gasification is a nice process. It holds a lot of potential for the future, because still coal is the most abundantly available fossil fuel across the world. All right, and the thing about the coal gasification is that even low grade coal can be used in the process. That's why option number 2 was incorrect. So currently what happens is we actually use or import natural gas to make fertilizers. So we have both domestic natural gas or imported LNG to make fertilizers. If we can use the coal gasification process instead, using even the low grade coal, because India doesn't have a lot of high grade variety of coal. So if we can use that coal for making fertilizers, it will drastically reduce our import bill. Is that okay? And by reducing our import of LNG. So Abhishek, the answer for this one is option number B and not option number A. Is that okay? Rangesh and Anant, you're correct. Let's come to question number 4. And somebody had yesterday asked me if Bandipur was both a tiger and elephant reserve. Yes, Bandipur is both a tiger and elephant reserve. So your time starts now for question number 4. Yes, Anant, Australia has high grade. That's why we went there to mine their coal, but now they have applied so many taxes there. It has become virtually impossible for Adani to import coal from there. Very expensive for us now. All right, Rangesh has already answered. Shivranjani, Suman, Ridhima, everybody is correct. Yes, it's Assam. The Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve is in Assam. In fact, it's in the Tinsukia district, if I'm not wrong. So somebody from Northeast might be able to tell it better. Apart from that, there is also Saleki Forest Reserve. So remember both the names. This one is also in Assam. So both these were in news for the same reason, because mining was allowed in the Elephants Reserve by the Wildlife Board of India. So Down to Earth magazine had an article saying that government has actually legalized mining in the elephant or in the protected areas, which is not good. That's why they highlighted it. So Dehing Patkai and Saleki Forest Reserve are in the same area. So remember the names. We have done Pakke Forest Reserve, and we have done Papam Forest Reserve and Pakke Tiger Reserve, both in Arunachal Pradesh, in news for the same thing. Similarly for Saleki Forest Reserve and Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve, both in Assam. All right. Yes, it is C. So let's actually take a look at it. So as I told you, they have allowed the coal fields mining unit run by Coal India to actually, give the go ahead that go and start mining. Now, whenever mining starts, it actually creates a havoc in the forest environment, because ponds might be formed. Your earth is seeped with the pollution that is caused by coal mining. So all that is happening there. And this Dehing Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary is a part of Dehing Patkai rainforest. So they are very important elephant habitats, and that is why they are under the Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve under the Project Elephant. If you want to read more about it, the entire article is given on the Down to Earth magazine, how National Board for Wildlife gives legitimacy to illegal mining in Assam. No, Anant, it's in Assam. The Tinsukia district is in Assam. It's not in Chhattisgarh. All right. I'll show you on the map. So at the very fag end, all right, this is Assam if you talk about it. So at the very fag end, you have the Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve. Is that okay? We haven't done it as yet. I have covered most of the wildlife sanctuaries, etc., but we didn't cover that. So this is here. It's in Assam, at the very fag end of Assam. Let's move on to question number 5. Interesting question again. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Oh wow, that's great, Suman. I have stayed in Darjeeling for 7 days. We visited their botanical gardens. We saw the red pandas. We sat in the Darjeeling train, the toy train. It was a wonderful experience, apart from one fact that it was a little difficult to find food there. So, apart from that, Darjeeling has been really wonderful, very beautiful. All right, your time starts now. Yes, yes, I remember Tiger Hill. The sunrises at Tiger Hill. Beautiful sunrises at Tiger Hill. But you just have to leave early, and it's upon your luck to be able to witness sunrises on Tiger Hill, because they say that the Kanchenjunga glows when the sun rises, and it's a beautiful sunrise. I remember that very well. All right. So I have a couple of answers here. Yes, all of you are correct. It's option number C, Satyanarayan and Ridhima. It's option number C and Anant. Okay, there are too many people who have answered option number D. No, read option number 2 again. The forest of eastern Himalayas are more frequently vulnerable. No, it is the forest of western Himalayas that are more frequently vulnerable to forest fires. So option number 2 is incorrect, and hence the correct answer is option number C. So Afreen, Aditya, Nabam, they have answered correctly. The rest, I think Suman, Anant, Ridhima, Satyanarayan, Abhishek, Rangesh changed his answer, and Shantini. They all went for a trip to Darjeeling with me in their imagination and forgot to read the question properly. Is that what happened? So, are you guys still with me, or are you guys still in Darjeeling? Let's please come back to our respective places on YouTube looking at this question. Is that okay? All right. So, let's move ahead. Well, actually, the forest of Western Himalayas are more prone to forest fires because the rain density in Eastern Himalayas is quite high. Everybody knows Northeast receives the maximum amount of rain, both from the Southwest monsoon as well as the Northeast monsoon, right? So, talking about that, the forest fire is usually doused because it's raining for a better part of the year. However, in Western Himalayas, the rainfall is a quarter of what happens in Eastern Himalayas, right? Because already it's a dry area because of the Himalayas. The entire, what you say, not rainfall, but the way they receive water is mostly in the form of snow, not even in the form of rainfall. So they are more prone to forest fires because they are drier than the Eastern Himalayas. So for something to catch fire, it has to be dry. Eastern Himalayas receives more rainfall, so consequently, they're not very much prone to forest fires. And yes, fire lines are strips. So very recently, in the Mukhurti National Park, can anybody tell me where is Mukurti National Park? So in that national park recently, they were actually removing the dried twigs or other dried plants, so that if the area is free from dried twigs or dried plants, even if there is a fire, the fire won't be spreading. Is that okay? Yeah. So Anant, yes, Obed, you're right. Indian Ocean Dipole. I know Suman and Rangesh and everybody was busy visiting Darjeeling in their heads and not being with me here on question number 5. So I know that. Anand, you're right. It's colder, but when it comes to rainfall or precipitation, it's mostly in the form of snow and sleet and all that stuff. All right. So yes, no, Obed, Mukurti National Park is in Tamil Nadu. All right. So recently they were creating fire lines. That means they were making it devoid of all the dried plants and dried twigs. So even if there is a fire, the fire won't spread. Now, there is an interesting piece of information that I want to share with you guys. All right. That is, if the fire starts from downhill, that means if the fire started here, all right, there is a high chance that it will move uphill. Why? Because your hot air, the air around the fire becomes very, very hot and it starts to climb up. So when the hot air goes up, that means more oxygen is available on the uphill area. So the fire starts spreading. However, if you reverse the entire process, for example, this is an interesting piece of information, so keep a track on this. If your fire starts somewhere uphill, here, then what happens? Your hot air remains up only and it starts going up. So the hot air will not traverse down because hot air is lighter in nature, so it will travel up only. So that way the fire has limited spreading tendency. Is that okay? Yes, yes, yes. You're right, Aditya. Are we understanding these two processes? It's important to understand this. And this was the first point. The second point is, see, if you have more pine forest, which are very, very prominent in the Western Himalayas, the cheed forest, especially your Kashmir is known for the cheed forest or the pine forest, right? So the alpine vegetation. So the problem with the pine forest is that the pines have raisins in them and raisins catches fire very easily. So when these pines after drying, when they fall on the forest floor and if there is a fire, the raisins in the pine will actually aid to the fire. So we really need to have a lot of diversity in our forest. So that's the second point. The third point, the problem with the forest fires is that people usually think that it actually leads to a natural growth of the forest. But what we have been witnessing is that the forest might be invaded by other foreign species which are actually not good for cattle grazing or for agriculture or for any other purpose. They might actually change the entire nature of the forest. So that is the third problem with the fires in the forest. Is that okay? All right. Yes, yes, Abhishek. I'm actually not talking about any system, Abhishek, here. All I'm talking about is very basic physics concept. Anything which is lighter will go up. So they will climb up the hill, go, more oxygen will be provided uphill. If more oxygen is provided, definitely the fire will spread. So my request, my suggestion to each of my students is, don't go by the nomenclatures, whether it is math or any other subject. Use your logic. That will always stand you in good stead, especially when you're going for prelims. Use your common sense wherever you can. 99% of the times you will be correct. And trust me, you will require common sense more than anything else in the prelims or the mains examination. UPSC exam is all about common sense. What you know about things, how you see things, the normal laws of physics apply. So do that. Is that okay? All right. Let's move on to the next question. That is question number 6. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. And that's not adiatic, it's adiabatic system. All right. Okay. I'm not scolding Abhishek anyone. It's just that I'm as worried about the prelims as you guys are. For me, it is very important that my students do well. And trust me, I prepare for the classes the same way as you are preparing for civil services. All right? Okay, let's start the time. I don't know what is causing me an itch on the nose. I have absolutely no idea and it's quite irritating. All right, most of you have answered me correctly. Yes, it is option number C. So for option number 1, Indian elephant has been declared as a national heritage animal by Government of India. Yes, that was done in October 2010. So that was also the time when the Project Elephant was launched properly, like you have the Project Tiger. So then was when the Project Elephant was also launched properly. Yes, Obed, I understand that. Aditya, you're right. It's option number C. Anant, Shivranjani, Ridhima. It's not option number D, it's option number C. Abhishek, you're also right. Now, this 2017 census was released recently on August 12. August 12 is the International Elephants Day. Alright. So, on that day, obviously, Hindu released an article. Alright. Hindu said that this time the number of elephants has come down. Why it has come down? Now there are 29,312 elephants precisely. 312 or 352, something like that is the number. They are lesser than the 29,000 or the 30,000 elephants that were observed in the 2012 census. So the report of the census was released very recently on August 12, 2019. All right. Yes. Yes, Ridhima, I know option number 2 is not correct. That's why I said option C is the correct answer. I am explaining, I'm giving the explanation here. So that was here. So when this census was released, this census is considered to be more authentic than the 2012 census, which listed higher number of elephants in India. Why? Because for the first time, the 4 states which witnessed the most human elephant conflict, they came together. Now, what is important here is there are 2 methods of estimating the elephants. All right. The first is the indirect method, that is the dung decay method. You go on following the dung of the elephant and then count the elephants. The second is the direct sighting method, by which you count the elephants. But direct sighting method is not possible because you can't cover the entire forest area. So you utilize both these methods. So for the first time, all the states came together. They decided on a uniform pattern of doing a census, and thus they consider the 29,312 number to be quite effective. Rangesh, I'll tell you the precise number. Yes, the highest is Karnataka, but the second highest is a different state. So we'll see that. And option number 3 is correct. Yes, they are under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. They are, Indian elephants are endangered, whereas the African elephants are under the vulnerable status category in the IUCN. So let's see how it is. So the highest number of elephants are in Karnataka, followed by Assam. How can you forget Assam when it comes to elephant or rhinoceros? And the third is in Kerala. Is that okay? That's why option number 2 is incorrect. The exact number is 27,312. Sorry, not 29,312, but 27,312. So that is far lower than 29 to 30K that they had estimated in the past in 2012. All right. And Asian elephant is listed as endangered. It is more in a critical state. African elephant is listed as vulnerable. All right. Now, they also talk about Indian elephant is one of the 3 extant recognized subspecies of Asian elephant. So, Asian elephant, it is an important piece of information, has 3 subspecies. What are these? One is the Indian elephant, one is the Sumatran elephant. All right. And the last one I think is the Thai elephants that they find in Thailand. All right. So this is the mainland. The Elephas maximus indicus is the mainland Asia. Sorry, not the Thailand. I'm so sorry. It's the Sri Lankan elephant. Just give me a moment. Yeah, okay. So when we talk about the three, I think we are on the 6th or 7th question. All right. So talking about the three species, one is the Indian elephant, another one is the Sri Lankan elephant, and the last one is the Sumatran elephant. So these are the three subspecies of the Asian elephants. It comes under the endangered category. However, the African elephant comes under the vulnerable category. Is that okay? Karnataka has more than 6,000 elephants, followed by Assam, more than 5,000, and Kerala, more than 3,000. Okay. So what I wanted to tell you was the four states, Odisha, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. All right. So these eastern states, they came together, they decided we will have a census together because they are the areas of maximum human elephant conflict prone region, because a lot of railway lines actually pass through the elephant reserves that go through these areas, and every other day you keep hearing that the elephant actually got struck by a train and died. So that's why these states decided to come together and have a survey. So as per the census, Odisha has greater than almost 2,000 elephants. Jharkhand has 700. Chhattisgarh and West Bengal have approximately 275 and 130 elephants. Is that okay? Yes, I already did that. Abhishek, are you able to understand now? Or is there still a confusion? I'll put it again here just for your reference so that, is everybody able to understand, or should I write it again? Asian elephants. One is Sri Lanka. Two is India or mainland Asia. And the three is Sumatra, which is the largest of the Indonesian islands. Is that okay? Yes, Anant, you're right. You're right. The Dalma Sanctuary in Jamshedpur and Saranda and Ranchi. All right. Let's move on to question number 7. So I'll give you 20 seconds to read and 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Actually, if you see, the last one was taken in 2012. All right. And yeah, I think it's every 5 years. You're right, Rangesh. It's 5 years. All right, your time starts now. All right, so nobody has yet answered me correctly. Actually, all of these are correctly matched. Your George Fernandez thermal power plant is in Bihar. It is in the Muzaffarpur district. All right. Suratgarh is in Rajasthan. It is in the Ganganagar district of Rajasthan, which is very, very dry. It's the core desert area of Rajasthan. Dibiapur thermal power plant is in Uttar Pradesh, the Oromia district. All right. So only Abhishek, Naveen and Shantini have answered me correctly. Okay. So it's option number D. Let's actually talk about them. So there you go. let's talk about the Kanti thermal power plant. Your Kanti thermal power plant. Yes, Abhishek, I took your name. So Abhishek, Naveen, Shantini and Aditya got it correct. Alright. Kanti is your George Fernandez thermal power plant. It is in the Muzaffarpur district and the Budhi Gandak flows through it. Budhi Gandak is again basically just like Gandak. It's the old Gandak. It's the old course of Gandak. It flows east to the normal Gandak that we have already marked in the map numerous times, somewhere here. Alright. Now, it flows east and parallel to the original Gandak and then joins Ganga. So, Gandak is a tributary of Ganga water system. We have already done that. Now, next come to Dibiapur. So, Dibiapur is in Oromia district of Uttar Pradesh. It is also known as Oromia Etawah thermal power plant. It gets its water from the Oromia Etawah canal, which is a canal or built on the upper Ganga river stream. So, it gets its water from the Ganges. Kanti gets its water from the Budhi Gandak. And then lastly, let's come to Suratgarh. So, Suratgarh is in Rajasthan. It is a gas based power plant. All right. Sorry. It's not a gas based, it's a coal based power plant. And it gets its water from the Indira Gandhi canal. So Indira Gandhi canal actually runs through the entire western Rajasthan, because of which, yes, Anand, that is why he was from Bihar. So definitely the thermal power plant is in his name. Suratgarh or the entire western region of Rajasthan actually receives water from the Indira Gandhi canal project. Alright, you must have heard about it in the NCRTs. It is given in detail. The Indira Gandhi project, canal project is there in detail in the NCRTs. So this is what supplies water to the Suratgarh power plant, which is in Ganganagar. Ganganagar district is one of the arid regions of India. It falls in the western Rajasthan part, so it's actually in the desert region. Coming to Dibiapur or Oromia Etawah thermal power plant, it is a gas-based power plant and receives its gas from Hajra Bijapur pipeline. Is that okay? The HBJ pipeline actually supplies gas to the Dibiapur power plant and it receives its water from Oromia Etawah canal, which is a canal built on the upper Ganges system. So that's about this. Let's move on to the next question. I hope, is that okay? Yes, Abhishek. Let's move on to question number 8. What exactly do you want to ask me, Rangesh and Abhishek? I'm not able to understand. Yes, I told this about in the wetlands wala class. Yes. Right, Abhishek. Alright, so question number 8 is here. It is an interesting technology, the biorock or mineral accretion technology. They are still in the formative stages to see how it works out. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Jyoti, I don't know which class you are in. It's not a part of EVS actually. I don't understand why we are even talking about EVS. So your time starts now. All right. So yes, actually, Rangesh, the river that flows there, it's actually he's right, Abhishek. Indira Gandhi Canal is built after the Hadike barrage. We have already done when we were doing the wetland systems, and it is the Satluj Byas river confluence. So it's the water of Satluj and Byas which goes there, not the Ravi river. Is that okay, Rangesh? And Abhishek, does that answer your question as well? All right, coming to question number 8. Okay. So yes, option number D is correct. Biorock or mineral accretion technology, I will tell you how it actually works. Yes, we basically use steel structures. We lower the steel structures into the ocean, let the this calcium carbonate structure fall on those steel structures, and then we plant the corals there. So we'll discuss this, and that's how I will be able to explain it to you in a better manner. Apart from Achananand, I'm seeing you after a while, like eons. It's not C, but it's option number D. Yes, definitely D. Shantini, it's option number D. And rest of you are correct. Suman, Naveen, Anant, Rangesh, Afreen, Ridhima, it's option number D. Satyanarayan, option number D. Aditya, you're also correct. Actually, let's see and understand this technology first so that everything will be clear. Okay, so what they actually do is this structure that you can see is a solar panel. So the solar panel floats above the water and it generates electricity. This electricity goes through a positive charge cord and a negative charge cord, and it is attached to the steel cages which are placed on the ocean floor. All right. So you can see it here. So as we know, corals are not found very deep into water. They are actually found very close to the surface of the water. So you place it very close to the ocean floor. Then when you actually generate positive and negative charges. Yes, Anant, you're right. Aditya, what I told about rivers was, so Satluj and Byas, they come together. All right. And after their confluence, you have the Hydrography barrage. We have discussed this in the wetland section because Hydrography is a wetland. We have already covered this when we were doing the mapping. Do you remember on the Unacademy sessions? So, Hydrography barrage is from where the Indira Gandhi canal comes, which actually gives water to the entire western Rajasthan. Is that okay? Understood now? So, moving on to this question, what they actually do is, your calcium is a positive ion, Ca2 plus, and your carbonate is a 2 minus. So, because of this electricity which is passed through these cords, these two ions, they come together and form calcium carbonate on the steel structure which is shown here. Once the calcium carbonate starts forming, that is where your corals grow. It's the skeleton of the coral polyps, which has also calcium carbonate structure on which the corals grow. So it is an artificial way of growing the corals. Is that okay? It is happening in the sea. It is happening in the Gulf of Kutch. Anant is right about it. It's happening in the Gulf of Kutch. The preliminary project is going on in the Gulf of Kutch. All right. So the calcium carbonate starts forming. It starts depositing here. When it starts depositing, then the divers, they actually go downstairs in the in the ocean, and they attach corals onto it. All right, they go downstairs, and when the calcium carbonate structure or the skeleton starts forming, they add living corals to it. Then the corals start reproducing and they start proliferating. So thereby giving rise to an artificial coral reef. Now, here the growth of the coral reef is faster than the natural growth of corals. Why? Because they don't have to create the calcium carbonate structure by themselves. That doesn't have to occur naturally. That is already there. They just have to go and proliferate. So that's why the growth of corals here is 5 to 6 times faster on these cages. And once that happens, we can actually restore the entire ocean ecology. Is that okay? So a temporary project is actually going on in the Gulf of Kutch. They are still trying to see the preliminary results. If that becomes successful, then they might replicate it elsewhere. So where else would they want to replicate it? We have Gulf of Mannar. We have Lakshadweep, we have Andaman and Nicobar, and we have the Sundarbans. These are the 4 areas where we have coral reefs. So right now, Gulf of Kutch also is involved. So apart from the islands and Sundarbans, right now we are doing it at Gulf of Kutch because the tidal range there is high. So the highest tide that goes is 8 meters and the low tide is 4 meters. So the tidal amplitude is high. So it is quite conducive for coral polyp growth. That's why we are doing the first project there. All right. So this is a photo. It's a very scenic photo of how actually the biorock reef looks like once the corals start blooming on them. So this is an example of the coral reef in Bali. This is the coral reefs in Bali. This picture has been taken from Oceanic City 2019. Yes, yes, Abhishek. They are giving the colony, they are giving them the houses. So corals live in the calcium carbonate skeletons. So they are providing them with the houses and then the coral can go and reproduce there. Yes, Abhishek, you're right. So this is the biorock reef. You know what? Right now I'm looking at the screen on my phone, how the video looks like. It looks like my face is exactly here and it looks like I am the diver here. So it's quite funny. You might also be feeling the same way. Is that okay? So this is how it actually looks like. This is the steel cage structure. Obviously, Anant, it won't be. It's an artificial thing, but the good thing is they can actually make them proliferate and the ocean ecology can be put back to a normal status. All right? Okay. Okay, let's move on to the last question. So another 10 seconds and your time starts. So this is some international news. All right. So Suman is already killing it. Suman, tell me one thing. Did you get that Mediterranean Sea question correct yesterday? We did it on Unacademy, the last question for yesterday. All right. Suman, Afreen and Ridhima, you are correct. It's option number C. It's option number C. 2,4 is correct. Bougainville is a region in Papua New Guinea and Al Qadrif is a region in Sudan. Let's see where are these two places in. Yes, it's option number C. Naveen, it's option number C. All right. Okay. So coming here, the Oromia region is in Ethiopia. All right. Bougainville, we already told, it's a main island in the Papua New Guinea. Can anyone tell me where is Papua New Guinea? It's just above the Indonesian island. This is how Indonesia actually looks like. Sumatra, Java, and then Papua New Guinea. And you have the Borneo island here. Sumatra, Java, and you also have the Sulawesi here, between somewhere here, and the Papua New Guinea. We have already done that. All right. Then someone you must be getting it. Okay. So this is here. Then Zubaland is in Somalia, which is the Horn of Africa. So basically this is part. So Zubaland is here. Al Qadrif is one of the 18 states of Sudan. Not the South Sudan, but the normal Sudan, which is left now. So why we are actually talking about, yes, it's in Southeast. Now, near Indonesia, the Timor Sea, very right, Obed. He actually hit it on the point, the Timor Sea. Yes, country in Oceania. Very good. Everybody, absolutely well done. Now, Yes, yes, they have. That keeps happening, Aditya. Okay, so let me actually talk about what was actually happening. Why do we have this question in the first place? So, interestingly, uh, what happens is Sudan and Ethiopia, they have a common boundary. Now, when Italy and Britain, which were the powers ruling Africa then, they got into an agreement with Ethiopia, and it was a very strange agreement. What happened was the Ethiopian farmers were allowed to go to Sudan's territory and do farming there because they had some water there, and that is a rich fertile land which is very conducive for agriculture. Now imagine it is like Pakistani farmers being allowed to come to India's Jammu and Kashmir saying that this place looks very good, let's start farming here. So no independent self-respecting country would tolerate that. So that is actually causing a lot of skirmish on the Ethiopian-Sudan border. It was there in the Indian Express. So the original Sudanese president, Omar al-Bashir, who was actually replaced, he never actually worried about it. He turned a blind eye to it. He was like, I already have dictatorial powers, why bother? But the new dispensation which has come in and also signed the near pact. We have done this question already. The near pact is between Sudan and US, in which Sudan will be paying the US terrorism victims of Sudan. So this new government in Sudan is trying its best to modify the Sudan into a new country, in a very well developed country. So that's why they are now having all these skirmishes. They don't want the Ethiopians to come inside their territory and start farming there. And the Ethiopians are now in a habit of going there and farming. It's like what happens between Israel and Palestine. So it's a similar thing which is happening here. So they're trying to solve it, and that's what actually led to this question. Is that okay? Abhishek, I told about that. Yes, you're right, Obid. They might be Anand. So thank you for those fabulous facts. I don't know which ancient language do they speak. I'm not aware of that. But thanks for giving me those goals. I'll go and check about that. All right. Talking about this one, Oromia, I already spoke of Abhishek. Oromia is in Ethiopia. It's one of the 9 regional states of Ethiopia. Is that okay? Oromia is Ethiopia. Zubaland is Somalia. Al-Qadrif is Sudan, and Bougainville Island is in Papua New Guinea. Is that okay? Everybody? All right, Abhishek, now I have told it. It's here. Okay, let's move on to the last question for the day. Question number 10. So this is an important question. Bathymetry you must have studied by now. I don't know how many of you have geography as your optional. Anybody has geography as their optional, so they must have studied about bathymetry. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right, your time starts now. Yeah, I know my nose is itching and I don't know why this is happening. I don't know, I think I'm allergic to the weather. It's been happening for a while. You don't have to be sorry to say that. I'll start looking like a Santa Claus in a while now. It happens to me very often. So I'll start looking funny, and if you want, you can laugh on me for that reason. All right. Uh, Guys, the correct answer is option number D. Afreen is correct. It is not A. It is actually one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that we want to explore the sea, know more about the sea, and actually have better aquatic life systems. I have already discussed all these sustainable development goals with you, 17 of them. Is that okay? Yes, Anand. You should, Aditya, you should be attempting each and every question. And apart from Afreen, all right, Abhishek. Apart from Afreen, nobody has answered me correctly as yet. So all three are correct. Let's actually go and look at what this is about. So basically, bathymetry is a concept in which you go and study the entire ocean floor. You go and check what kind of physical features are there on the ocean floor. So as you know, there are canyons, gorges, even waterfalls. In fact, I have an interesting fact for you today. Do you know that the tallest waterfall in the world, if we actually combine both the oceans and the land, the tallest waterfall in the world is actually in Denmark Strait. The Denmark Strait that we have studied, it's the largest strait in the world, and that waterfall is actually in the ocean. It falls approximately 3 to 4 kilometers down. It's even taller than the Victoria Falls. Almost 3 to 5 kilometers taller than the Victoria Falls. So it is the tallest waterfall. So these kind of things, there is a large amount of physical features that are there on the ocean floor. All right. You have those atolls, you have the sea mounts and various structures. So under the bathymetry, you go and study those structures. Now, why is it important? Because it actually helps you know how the water circulation is happening, why the tides are higher at some place, why they're not higher at some place, what are the biological hotspots in the ocean. It also helps you knowing where you could possibly go and explore for oil and gas projects or mine for minerals, or you can actually build offshore wind turbines because ocean currents also drive your winds. And yes, it is one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So point number 3 is also correct. Yes, Abhishek. No, Anant. I don't get the time to watch Money Heist. First of all, because see, I'll tell you one thing very honestly. My life is already in so much rush all the time. Whenever I do get time, I really want to watch something which can help me put my hair down, let my hair down. So I prefer to watch the reruns of Big Bang Theory uh, because that's funny. And I have been a nerd all my life, so I kind of relate with their life. So that's one reason. Uh, and apart from that, I hardly get any time at all. All right. So that's one of the things. Now, actually, there is a project that is being going on internationally. So it is being run by the Nippon Foundation of Japan. So JEPCO is there. I will show you their website. That this is a Seabed 2030 project. Under this project, they are trying to map the entire world's ocean floor by 2030, and they have to complete this project by June 21, which is also World Hydrography Day. So they want to complete it by then. As of now, they have actually done it for 1.45 crore square kilometers of the ocean floor, and they want to add more to it. So now, why they want to do it? They say, for example, some of the mysteries like the Malaysian Airlines flight MH370, which just disappeared into thin air. So if we had more idea about the Southern Indian Ocean, if we had more idea about where this actually went in the ocean, maybe we could have been able to find out the Malaysian Airlines flight, but we never could get hang of it, where it went. Yes, that's why aquatic systems. It's for the sustainability. Abhishek, I'll tell you something very interesting. Anything which is related to environment and ecology, anything which enables us to know about our world better and helps improve our climate change conditions or helps improve humanity is directly, indirectly a part of your SDGs. You don't have to nitpick that, because what you must have gone and seen is just one parameter of it. The SDGs have sub goals under them. All right, Abhishek, is that okay? So everything under the sea, under the sun, under the sea, anywhere will definitely be related to SDGs if it is in the news. We will not anything, not Nothing has been left beyond its reams. I'll be very honest with you. Okay, so now what I want to show you is the general bathymetric chart of the oceans. It's actually a non-profit organization and an intergovernmental organization. It has the mandate to map the entire ocean floor. So let's go and check this out. The entire thing which came in the Indian Express article I've explained here. So I'll actually take you to these websites now. All right. So this is the GEPCO website, General Bathymetrics Chart of the Oceans, the GEPCO website. They have this project here called Seabed 2030. So under this, it is being funded by the Nippon Foundation, which is from Japan, and they want to map 100% of the ocean floor. So they have the regional and the global centers which are contributing to this. So if you want to read more, you can actually go and read about this project more, the Seabed 2030 project. It can be important for your mains examinations. All right. Then let's come to the next one, which is the International Hydrography Organization. Yes, Anant. SDG is Aham Brahmosmi. You're right. Very right. You can write about that. All right. This is the International Hydrography Organization. So when you talk about it, so this is actually an intergovernmental organization just like the GEPCO, and it ensures that all the world seas, oceans, navigable waters are surveyed and charted. It was established in 1921. All right. What they actually want to involve themselves is safety of navigation, protection of marine environment, search and rescue, maritime trade, tsunami, etc., whatever you can think of. So this is an organization about this. India is a member of GEPCO as well as the IHO. I need to confirm about the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission. There are 147 members of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission. This actually comes under the UNESCO. So this body is under the UN. The other two bodies are not under the UN. Is everybody able to get me? Am I able to make you understand things? Is it okay? Are we getting things or am I going too fast? Are we good? Every one of you. All 12 of you who are watching this. Let me know. So your IOC is under the UNESCO. It is the only competent organization for marine science within the UN system. There are others also, but within the UN system, this is the only one. It was established in 1960 and it follows the UN clause or the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea. Is that okay? Everybody good with this? Okay. So the headquarters of the Nippon Foundation, GEPCO, are actually in Paris. The headquarters of the this GEPCO is in Paris, France. That's where it is. Shantini, Sustainable Development Goals. Yes, Abhishek. Great. So from here, let's come back to our world, our own world. This is in news. This is home. And this project, the Seabed project, was actually launched in June 2017, aligned with, as Abhishek told us, UN Sustainable Development Goal number 14. All right. So with that, I'll move on to our session again. And I have to say this because we have come to the end of the session. So tonight we'll be having 8:30 p.m. session. Most likely we will be having it unless my nose starts to itch again and I become a Santa Claus all over again. I think I should be good because I am actually facing a couple of health issues for a while now. But I'll try to be there this evening and I will keep you guys informed. With that, thank you and I hope there are no doubts. Guys, there is one thing that I have been wanting to tell you for a while. Only 30 days are remaining now, not even 30 days remaining to the prelims. My sincere request, please waste your valuable time in things that will get you maximum outcomes. All right? don't waste your time in getting any other additional information. It's not going to help. You're not going to remember. It's not going to help. Waste your time in what you have already done. Revise, revise, re-revise, and do as many questions as you can. Thank you, Anand. That's a very beautiful compliment. So, is that okay? So, we should be meeting this evening. I hope so. Unless I get a scratchy nose and everybody starts calling me a Santa Claus. So, with that, I'll end the session. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. All right.